Thanks for watching, Jim. I hope you're well. Welcome to this Lifestyle Tips. Today we're talking about HIIT training. Why should you do it? What's it important? Let's find out. Grab yourself a pint of water, take a sip, and hydrate. Cheers. So HIIT stands for High Intensity Interval Training. Okay. The two forms really. One is sit and one's HIIT. Sit is sprint interval training, where you go flat out for as quick as you can for short periods of time, maybe like 20 seconds. And as a result, because you've given absolutely everything that you've got, you need a recovery period after that. And that would probably be between like 3 and maybe 5 minutes. Okay. The other one is HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. That's where you're probably going as hard as you can, like about 80% of what you can do. So you're able to do lots and lots of blocks back to back to get a good, quick workout. So why is it important? Why is it relevant? Why should you do it? And why should it be part of your training? Well, in society, we are always, well, majority of the time, we are always time poor and need to get the most amount of efficiency out of that training session. So HIIT training sessions are quick, fast routines. The classes that I teach are called HIIT 20. They're called HIIT 20 for a reason. The exercises are 20 seconds long, and also they are done and dusted in under 20 minutes in terms of length of duration. For an effective HIIT training session, you should have a good warm-up. You should have some form of mobilization in at the start, which is what we do at every class. We then pick a number of exercises. Now, the way that I train is working 5 exercises, doing 20 seconds, back to back, and that completes your first set. Once you've done that, you then rest. You do 3 sets of that. So you can do those 5 exercises again, and then rest, and then the 5 exercises again, and rest. Stretch, cool down, and away you finish. Cool down and stretch, whichever way you do those two. Okay, so it is a really, really effective way of burning a lot of calories in a very short space of time. And because you're doing it back to back, you get a really good aerobic burn out of it as well. So there's something called EPOC, which is excess post-oxygen excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So when you finish your exercise, the amount of oxygen you're consuming, and it's really important because the more you can breathe in and breathe out after the session, the more you're burning out from the calories you've used, but also the recovery afterwards as well. And that's where we see something called an increase in metabolism post-exercise. So in other words, when you finish that training session, your body's got to work hard to recover. So if you do a lot of walking, for example, at the end of that training session, you might find your breathing rate's back to normal, you can get on with your day-to-day activities. But when it comes to more strenuous activities like running and perhaps sprinting, which is proven to be the most calorie-dense burning exercises you can do. So when it comes to that, you have an oxygen depletion, so therefore you've got to breathe hard afterwards. And you'll see it a lot with top international sprinters who have done like 100 meters, for example. They get to the end of it, they're absolutely gasping, they're sweating buckets, they're perspiring an awful lot at the end of it, and their body's trying to recover. And that shows an increase in the metabolism post-exercise because the body's got to work really hard. The heart rate's probably still pumping really hard. You can see they're still breathing when they're speaking to the commentary team afterwards. That's the indication that their body has worked really hard in a short period of time. And effectively, that's the same as HIIT. You're working really hard in a short period of time and you're burning an awful lot of calories as a result of it. And as a result, it's a really, really fun and effective way of training. If you enjoy it, do it. Because as you create the burn, as it's called, or you're creating an oxygen depletion or you're burning calories, you're flooding in a whole range of hormones into the body, notably dopamine, which gets released certainly when you've received pain, and doing exercise does cause you pain because you've got to create micro tears in the muscles. So as a result, you get flooded with dopamine, which is a feel-good factor that makes you feel good. It's almost like your body rewards you for putting itself through pain by doing exercise. True, it's fact. That's what happens. So you also get massive endorphin releases. You feel really great about yourself. You also get a huge amount of testosterone release as well. So all the time, your body is trying to become more effective and more efficient. Now, if you put your body under stress and duress, you are going to find that you're going to have to either you'll get very, very tired, but also you'll find that your body will have to react to it, have to cope. The muscles will have to get stronger. They'll have to get more flexible, perhaps. they'll have to increase their range. So as a result, these elongated muscles, perhaps, or these stronger muscles, are going to need to have more calories provided to them throughout the day for them to be able to operate. And as a result, in my opinion, you then have an increase in the requirement for protein. And protein is a really essential thing. And if you can tie in my opinion, HIIT training and strength training, ability and movement into your regular part of your training with the adequate amount of protein for your body, you will get some significant improvements. The amount of protein that you need is about 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilos, you need around 150 grams of protein, which is not a huge amount of protein, maybe like the size of a good chicken breast, for example. Plenty of other foods out there for getting your protein. So our bodies have to get fitter, they have to get stronger as a result of doing HIIT training. So researchers have done loads of work into studying the benefits of it. And if you're doing like 20 seconds of a maximal effort, and there's lots of research into this, like the Fast 800 and the Fast Exercise, they've done lots of research into it where they're talking about 20-second bursts, 2-minute recovery, going again, and it could be an exercise bike, it could be a treadmill. You're really pushing out. And as a result, your recovery of that is going to be longer. So as a result, you're going to burn, and the statistics state, between 25 and 30% more calories than most other forms of exercise. So that's a really great thing. And the other thing I was saying to it as well is about that rate of recovery afterwards, that increase in your metabolism. So really think about how much intensity you're actually putting into your training sessions. If you do a lot of swimming, for example, could you bring HIIT training into it? So you're going to give it a high burst, a high intensity to that training. It could be that you try to get into your running. So things like Catch the 5K are brilliant because they bring in the principles of HIIT training to develop your fitness, to develop your longitude of your exercise. What they're doing is they tend to say, right, for the next minute, you're going to up your intensity to say 70%. Or it could be that you're going to sprint to the next lamppost and then recover, and sprint to the next one after that. There's different ways of bringing into it. But if you're getting yourself to a point where you're out of breath, in my opinion, and you're feeling pretty tired and you're doing that twice in a training session, you've achieved a really good form of HIIT training, and you'll have achieved that EPOC again, that post-oxygen session where you're trying to recover afterwards. So it's absolutely brilliant for you. And as a result, and this is probably one of the key parts that quite a lot of people look for when they're trying to get into exercise, is about losing weight. So if you tie that in with a calorie control deficit, then you will have less calories coming in to the expenditure of what you're doing. That's essential. That's the way that you're going to lose weight sensibly. And HIIT training shows that in comparison to most other training sessions, that you will burn a percentage more body fat and reduce circumferences of the body. Now, that's based on evidence of 424 adults which were overweight or struggling with obesity. And they measured them, they got them to do training over a 12-week period, and then they measured them before and afterwards and looked at their training. Those who did HIIT training against those who did jogging and walking, those who did HIIT training lost more body fat percentage. And they also increased the muscle dexterity as a result. So yeah, so lots of good information there. Anyway, I hope that's helpful for you. If it's inspired you to get involved in HIIT, then please do check out some of the classes that I teach online. Get yourself training into it and finding yourself that little afterglow effect. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers. And I'll see you again next time on this one. Take care. Cheers.